all of you, though, can really lift up the benefits for your states and talk to your congressional delegations directly. Talk to your businesses, by the way, because they'll tell you how important this is to them. All right. Who else we got? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, Matt Mead from Wyoming. A great celebration is going on this year. It's the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service. And as the state with the first national park, we're very proud. This a great opportunity for the country to celebrate parks and what they bring not only to our nation, but to our world.
You got some pretty nice ones.
Well, you could even say the best if you really want to do it.
I wasn't going to go there, but they're really nice. I got it.
Just interested in accuracy, Mr. President. But anyway, Mr. President, thank you for last night. We all enjoyed that. So I'm chair of the Natural Resources Committee for the National Governors Association, and we had a good meeting this week. There was discussion, and certainly we don't all agree as governors in terms of sort of in national energy policy and where we should go. As you know, we are a big mineral state in Wyoming, and there's other mineral states here as well. And I know you've addressed climate change, and we may have different points of view on that. But it does seem, from my perspective, that if the concern is fossil fuels, we have to continue to invest in R&D to say, listen, it's real. I mean, coal produces 40% electricity in this country. If that's the concern, let's work to clean it up. We appreciate the work of the Secretary of Energy in doing that. We now see, though, a 5% reduction in R&D in terms of where that may go. And at least from our standpoint, we're investing in R&D in our state on how to make improvements in coal and other energy resources. And so I think from the national government's perspective, what is the long-term view and how we make things better where we have areas of concerns? Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the constructive conversations that have taken place between the NGA and the energy-producing states. Number one, climate change is real. The science is clear. We can debate how we approach the problem, but we can't debate the science. I just have to be very clear about that. At least, the analogy that I've used is that if you went to a doctor and he said, you've got a disease, and you said you want a second opinion, the second doctor said you had the disease, you went to 100 doctors and 99 of them said you had the disease, at a certain point you'd say, I got to do something about this. And that essentially is the situation with respect to climate change. 99% of scientists are saying this is a really serious problem, not a sort of kind of maybe off in the distant future problem. This is a problem that is going to get worse in the lifetime of our children and our grandchildren, and
you are so full of shit.
There is such a thing as being too late on this, because if you start getting into a feedback loop where fundamental weather patterns and ocean temperatures are changing, we can't reverse it. And the effects will be profound. So that's point number one. Point number two is, in order to grow the economy, we've got to have energy. And economic growth remains a top priority for Democrats and Republicans alike, and every governor and every president, whoever takes my place, they're going to want to grow the economy. And by the way, that's true internationally. In fact, there are countries like India where it's even more desperate. They don't have electricity. They've got to produce electricity in order to develop. And if we aren't giving them options, if the only message we have for them is stay poor, we're not going to solve the problem. So this is not an either-or issue. We've got to grow the economy, which means we've got to produce energy, and we've got to deal with climate change.
Answer the fucking question.
The good news is that technology and research and development are accelerating rapidly. And because of the Paris Agreement that we struck, you are going to see more investment from the private sector, not just from governmental sectors, and that is going to accelerate progress even more. You take an example like solar. When I came into office, we set goals that we thought were really ambitious. And the amount of solar energy that is being produced now and the unit costs dropping faster than any of us imagined means that
You're
we
wrong.
could be on a path where a huge portion of our energy needs can readily be provided through renewable energy, clean energy, much faster than any of us would have anticipated even a few years earlier. Now, with respect to those states that continue to have a significant traditional fossil fuel extractive set of industries, number one, we have not discouraged, we've encouraged production.
Bullshit.
Throughout my presidency, oil and gas production have gone up significantly.
Whatever.
We have put ourselves in a position because of new technologies to produce more than ever before, and that's changed the geopolitical landscape. We have, Sally Jewell, I think, has been, and prior to her, Ken Salazar, have tried to be very flexible in thinking about how do we continue to meet our energy needs. We haven't shut down energy production outside of very sensitive areas that are of significant concern. The main shift that's taken place is because U.S. production's been so high, prices have plummeted, and that's changed the equation for private sector companies. That's a global price issue. And the second thing that's changed, frankly, is natural gas started supplanting coal because it became so cheap, and that hurt coal industries. Now, having said that, I continue to believe that there are areas of research and development that have to be done because we are going to continue to use fossil fuels for our lifetime. Those aren't going to immediately go away. And certainly they will be used in other countries. And if we can figure out how to make those cleaner, that helps all of us. I want India and China to know how to use clean coal because they're going to be building coal plants anyway. And if we've got technology that can help make sure that it's not emitting huge amounts of carbon, all the better. So historically, since I've come into office, we have invested in technologies to capture carbon from coal-fired plants. The technologies are there. The problem is that they're just really expensive right now. And so given relative prices to natural gas,
Isn't that the idea, is to break them?
they haven't been deployed. We are going to continue to invest in trying to bring those costs down. But frankly, in this marketplace, it may be a while before it is economical for anybody to imagine wanting to use that. Ironically, what would actually accelerate clean coal technology, so-called clean coal technology, would be the work that we did in Paris to